Hello everybody and welcome to the Inky500 Racing League here on ACC League, where we've got the GT4s taking to the circuit. Here today we are at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit here in Belgium. A brilliant track for some brilliant little quick cars. We know the GT4s are a little bit slower than the GT3s, but they're smaller, they're better at racing, and of course they have brilliant GT4 engine sounds. Not too long before we head into this race start, and we're going to have a highlight package here today, so around 15 minutes of all the highlights from this Spa race. Here is the start of the race. Of course, it is the Alpine of Bosco on pole, and Smith in second in the Porsche 718, Bird in third in the BMW. So a range of many cars here taking part in Spa, and already a bit of contact at the back of the field of one of the cars heading off to circuit there. That would have been Snicks in the McLaren, but does re-enter and continue on. As we can see, the cable straight for the first lap, the top three pulling away nicely, and then keep on there getting put onto the grass as they head their way down to the next braking zone. And then we can see now, next clip here, crash as they head in towards the Nrcommentary for the first time. That's one of the Mercedes there having a bit of contact with one of the other Mercs, and then of course many other cars fall in sympathy as they all continue on. And this is a battle for second here between Bird and Michael here for second as they continue their way around the BMW versus the Porsche as they head their way towards Speaker's Corner at turn number 9 or turn number 10, and then they head their way down towards Pouon. Very difficult part of the track, and Inky here and the Aston Martin getting a bit of damage. I think that might have been down at the Nrcommentary chicane on the opening lap. Here we can see, of course, Bosco in the lead, a brilliant lead in the Alpine GT4 car, a superb car here on this game. Continuing on in the lead nicely with a decent gap to those ahead, and here yet again we can see the battle for second. A couple of the Ginettas involved, we have a few BMWs as well, and I think that might be a Chevrolet near the back as well getting involved in that battle for second place. But 5-6 cars here battling for second, but Michael has that second place for now ahead of Bird, and Crawford in fourth place. As we can see a crash here between Lex and Atlas, a Chevy versus the BMW here as they headed towards the braking zone of the bus stop chicane. We can see that would be the Chevrolet braking too late, and it seems that Atlas either was quite annoyed or somehow couldn't get the car back under control and went straight down in towards the barriers at the end of the chicane there. And this is the crash as they enter the second lap between Cruthal and Bird. We can see there just a bit of a tap from the Jetta of Cruthal, went a little bit too late on the brakes and unfortunately caught the BMW of Bird. So they continue on out of the source down towards the Eau Rouge and Radion. And here we can see about 50 the Alpine of Graham on the top and Snicks and McLaren on the bottom of your screen. So as they head their way up the hill, up Eau Rouge, and of course Radion meets you at the top of this devastating hill to drive up, especially in the wet in some of these GT3 cars. A brilliant battle for 5th place as they head down towards the Nrcommentary chicane. As we can see yet again, more battling here for 5th between Snicks, Bird and Blex. McLaren versus the BMW versus the Chevrolet. Brilliant battling so far from the cars on the grid. Close to contact there between the two in 5th and 6th, and then you can see the Chevrolet and Blex looking to get through, get sent sideways as they head their way through the Lafanya chicane. But they all continue on now in the car. I think one of the Ginettas there getting involved to try and move up into 7th place. As we can see here, Roberts looking to catch up and try and get himself up into 12th place as they head round the curb and full frere at turn number 15. And then of course heading down towards the Blanchimont. See the penultimate corners around this circuit. See a very well known one, but in these GT4s you have to turn a little bit more to these corners than you would in an F1 car. So you can see turn the car in, bit of steering, and of course not wanting to run too wide, of course, with these treacherous conditions as they head their way into the bus stop chicane. See a couple of cars involved there in a bit of an incident, one of the Mercs going off one. I think that was one of the cars caught up in the incident on the first lap, and Roberts try not to get into contact and will move up to 12th place as we can see here. A bit of a crash here, I believe it's Ben in the Aston Martin getting caught up here, and you can see just loses the rate heading through Pouon, and it's a very easy thing to do in these GT4s around a treacherous Spa-Francorchamps. You can see here McDonald's view of what happened. You can see just losing the rate completely on the curb. That's the curb that does it there for the Aston Martin. And then I believe we'll see another replay behind as well. So they will head their way through. Roberts here, just trying to not get involved with that crash. As you can see, the Aston slide off. The Little has to brake and avoid. And Roberts has to go completely off the circuit. He just can't catch the car with such low grip. As we can see yet again a battle for the podium. Two Ginettas, Eugene and Kruthal looking to battle for third, and Eugene goes off the circuit. Kruthal goes through and up into third place for the Ginetta car. Of course, a brilliant little car that you can take to the track, and well, it's pretty good all-round, I think, compared to many other cars who might struggle in certain aspects. As we can see here, Atlas and Graham battling for 7th as we enter lap 4 of, I believe, 17 that were completed around Spa. Atlas moves up ahead of the Alpine and now up into 7th place. I'm going to say yet again the BMW a brilliant car, whether it's a GT3 or a GT4. This car really does the trick. As we can see Roberts in the Aston, and we can see Diego in the Mercedes as they head their way down in towards, I believe that is Ravage, and ooh, you can see Roberts goes really wide, and the Aston Martin so far, we've seen a couple of them not looking too happy with this track, whether that's due to setup or whether that's due to the car not performing well in the wet around this circuit, as Roberts having a bit of a crash and hitting the wall and then hits the other walls. He tries to get the car back under control, but unfortunately ends up on the other side of the circuit, and the second time an Aston Martin has had an incident at this corner on lap number 4. Of course, the last one was on lap number 3. As we continue on, and we can see Graham and Atlas yet again battling for 7th place on to lap 5 of this Spa race. Of course, a brilliant race so far. Many battling has been shared between the drivers, of course. Not much happening at the front of the field at the moment, but all the battling in the midfield. As we can see, Graham keep that 7th spot. Of course, these two made a battle earlier, and Atlas must have lost position in the end and has a massive slide heading through Pooh on a very difficult corner so far, it seems to be, for all of the drivers. As we can see here, Lex and Snicks, Chevrolet and McLaren battling for P5 as they head their way through Blanchemont down towards the bus-stop chicane, and the McLaren going wide of Snicks, allowing Lex to go around the outside and completely clears the McLaren before they enter the braking zone, and into P5 goes Lex in the Chevrolet. I believe I think the only Chevrolet that they've got this race, so doing a superb job in a car that doesn't seem to be that popular as they head their way back up towards the Nrcommentary chicane, still having their battle for P5. It's Blex on the outside, Snicks on the inside as they head into the braking zone now. And you can see the McLaren braking later, but goes a little bit deeper, allows the Chevrolet to go all the way around the outside as they head their way to the end of the chicane. And a brilliant move from Blex as they head into Malmedy. Gets himself back up into P5, runs a little wide themselves, allowing Snicks to try and fight back in towards Ravage. So they head into the braking zone, a very difficult corner, and yet again, the McLaren braking a little bit too late and allows Blex in the Chevrolet to get the better of him as they head their way into turn 11 at Speaker's Corner. And you can see Blex yet again looking to increase that advantage. You can see a crash here heading up towards Eau Rouge and Radion Kruthal. So they head up there, you can see yet again losing the rear. The car just bottoms out heading up the hill, and there's nothing at all that Kruthal could do there to stop it. I believe in a Ginetta car, nothing he could do to stop that from happening. Crashes the wall once again in a bit of frustration as he enters the track once more to continue on. And this is a replay here off board of what happened to the Ginetta of Kruthal. Heads up Eau Rouge, the car bottoms out, there's nothing you can do at all, nothing at all. And luckily, no cars get involved, another car having to avoid. I think that might be one of the other Ginettas on circuit. Luckily, didn't get involved. This is Eugene here, who is in the other Ginetta. Heads up the hill. You can see having to just move to the left, hoping not to get involved. You can see the steering wheel left, right, just trying to hold it as they head up towards the Kennel Straight. And of course, a big shame there for Kruthal and the Ginetta. As we can see yet again a battle between Atlas and Graham. Atlas going a little bit wide, heading out of turn 1, of course. Graham and the Alpine having the inside line sometimes does hamper your straight line speed being carried out the corner, allows the BMW to continue on. And just look at the two cars, the Alpine versus the BMW. It's such a difference in car size, isn't there? As they head up the hill, and you can see, Graham going off the circuit, a car exiting the pits. That might be Kruthal after that last incident, as we can see here. Third on one more camera, and McDonald in the front as well in the Mercedes. The BMW versus the Merc, they continue their way on, heading in towards Blanchemont corner. Of course, it's battle for 9th position on lap 7 of 17 completed. I've got to say, so far, lots of battling has been brilliant, absolutely brilliant for the drivers. And I've got to say, not many battles have ended in incidents. They've all ended in people kind of sometimes out braking a little bit and just not making it work. As we can see, Koozies entering the pit for repairs, and that would have been the car I think we saw exiting the pits earlier on. Let's see, heads into the pit lane now, down to 50 miles per hour. Continues his way on along the long pit lane around this circuit. Of course, you have to go all the way to the end and then go through another pit lane before you can have your car serviced as Atlas here on the exit. Graham in the Alpine looking to catch up the course. I believe the Alpine would have pitted a lap earlier, I believe so. So they head their way down towards the Nrcommentary. Of course, Atlas on the inside line, having that pit stop done. Be a little bit trashier on the first couple of corners, of course, to get fine-tuned back into the car. You can see lots of slides for the BMW, as we can see Lex and Eugene battle for 7th place. Lap 10 of racing here for these guys as they head their way into the Nrcommentary. And we can see Black's having a bit of an incident here, a little bit similarly to what we saw happen to him when he was battling a few laps ago with, I believe, the BMW when he was at, sorry, the McLaren, when he was able to just go up the inside because the McLaren broke too deep. This time it's him breaking too deep into the corners, and Eugene for a second was having a go at him, but for now can't really find a way past the Chevrolet of Blex. As you can see here, Blex going a little bit wide heading into the braking zone of the chicane. Way too deep in the brakes, way too deep, and has to try and avoid the wall by counter-steering the car. Turns it back around and will have to continue on. But definitely big time loss there for Blex. Definitely something he didn't want. As we can see them head out of the final corner, back there towards the first corner they go. Definitely big shame, as we can see Bird and Snicks, BMW and McLaren, lap 12 here at Spa. And we can see the BMW braking too late. Does he brake too late? No, he doesn't brake. Oh, he does. He goes a little bit deep and allows Snicks to go back around the outside. And unfortunately there for Bird, hops to the curb at the bus stop chicane, and that loses you so much time, as the car does seem to bottom out quickly. As this is Diego as he heads his way around. Ooh, you can see running a little bit wide as they head in towards Blanchemont now. Really wide, really wide, as they head their way down towards the bus stop chicane here. And I believe there might be a drive-through here for Diego, so they head their way up into the pit lane. Yep, so would have been a drive-through served, would have been for that exit of Blanchemont, I think, for Diego there. As he will definitely be losing a lot of time by having to serve that penalty. Of course, around here, the drive-through penalties being a big burden to your race, as we can see. Bird and Six again, these two having a brilliant battle, the BMW and the McLaren. Lap 13 now, and they're still racing for that 5th position as they head side by side down towards the Nrcommentary chicane. It'll be Snicks on the inside, Bird on the outside as they head their way into the braking zone. Who will come out ahead? It will be Bird in the BMW for now, and hopefully can get the car nice on the brakes, and does so very well. And they continue on as the track not getting any lighter at all in rain. The rain's still heavy around this circuit and still causing a burden to many. As we can see, Blex and Graham, Chevrolet versus Alpine, as we head in towards the Nrcommentary chicane. And I've got to say, from what we've seen so far, the Chevrolet looks so good on the brakes. Haven't got a chance to drive it yet on the game, but it does look really good when it comes towards a braking. As we head in towards Ravage, let's hope I didn't jinx it by saying that. Yet again, you can see it brakes perfectly heading into the zone, and the Ginetta going all the way around the outside seems to be a bit better on traction. Has a bit of an off there. Does Graham, and oh, and nearly, barely touches the wall. I think he might have had a bit of a tap on the wall. And continues on with Blex and the Chevrolet continuing to have that 7th place. As we can see here, Atlas on board as he goes wide in the Beamer, allows Bird to get a position, goes really wide, does Atlas. She's losing the car. Once you go off track, there's no grip at all for your car, as these two are battling for 4th place. So Bird moves up into 4th, started 4th, and now in 4th, as we have only a couple of laps left to go. Koozies on our camera, Ben in the Aston Martin. These two battling for 10th place. Of course, you'd rather be 10th than 11th in a race. we head down towards Ravage. You can see Kruthal looking to brake later than Ben. Ben goes a little bit deep and just Kruthal in the Jetta just can't seem to find a way through. Wants to. You can see the Aston Martin defending perfectly as they head their way around Speaker's Corner and back down towards Pouon. With the Aston that keeps at 10th now. Kruthal down to P11. As these two still battling for position, of course, this time on the off-board camera as they head through the Lafanya chicane in towards Stavelot. You can see here Ben, missing the apex completely, goes a little bit wide, and Kruthal in the Ginetta looking to make its way through as they head in towards Curve de Paul Frere. And the Aston Martin does lose the position to the Ginetta. Kruthal into 10th, Ben down to 11th. They'll have one more go at this as they enter lap 17. As we can see here, the last lap, of course, Bosco being our race winner around this circuit. A superb drive here tonight in this race. And Michael in second and Eugene in third. As I believe actually they're just entering the final lap. My apologies. As Bosco will continue to lead the way, and we can see here the checkered flag. The Alpine of Bosco has done a superb job in this race. Will exit the final corner ahead of Michael and ahead of Eugene as they head up towards the line. And it'll be the Alpine of Bosco that takes the win here in Spa. And Michael in second, and Eugene will take third in the Ginetta.